It was an amazing, amazing piece of film work, and we congratulate them for that and are so pleased that they were able to be a part of this.
Well, let me mention what the experience has been in Nairobi this afternoon. I think it's been excellent. But let me start by mentioning that we were able to link or connect with Mogadishu, one of the most unlikely places on earth. And as you know, Somalia, for the last 20 years, has been experiencing a lot of civil strife and destruction and war. But from the discussion they had, it was very clear that the young people inside Somalia, in Mogadishu, and also outside Somalia, believe that the digital platforms available to them can consolidate the peace in the country and help rebuild the nation. So that's an extremely powerful message. But let me come back to what has happened in Nairobi this afternoon. You know, Nairobi in itself is a major center for innovation in IT. And I want to mention the 3 lessons that we got this afternoon. The first being that digital solutions apply to all areas of socio-economic endeavor. They are enabling in all respects. So we had incredible examples on digital solutions applied to agriculture, to food security, to learning, and to markets and promotion of entrepreneurship. Okay, so that's extremely valuable in that respect, and it means that the potential is huge, and it can be applied as an enabler in all 4 purposes of socioeconomic development. And then the second point, which is very important, is the link between problems and solutions using digital media and digital platforms. In particular, for example, if you look at the example of the money transfer platforms such as M-Pesa, you know, the possibility that historically, you know, people in Nairobi, for example, who have obligations in their rural homes had to send money through relatives by bus. And if you're lucky, the money got there. Often the money perhaps was lost on the way and all. But what the money transfer platforms have done is to create an efficient and most instantaneous system of transferring money. So there's a problem that has found a solution. And this has now been applied, for example, to processes of settling utility bills. When you pay for your water, for your electricity, you don't have to physically go to the electricity office. You can transfer the money directly through M-Pesa very quickly from the comfort of your own home. And so all these are real solutions. Most recently, last week, as a matter of fact, we have seen the Chief Justice introducing a system through which citizens can pay up their fines through the money transfer. So the efficiency of the judiciary has been enhanced, the convenience to people has been provided, and I think it has raised the quality of service delivery in this respect. In Kenya, you may be aware that next year we're going to have a very important election. The government of Kenya and UNDP have established, used systems, digital solutions platforms to promote civic education and voter education and a better understanding of the Constitution of Kenya. But more importantly, we're hoping that the platforms will be used to monitor the conduct of elections with the hope of preventing the type of violence that we witnessed in 2008. That's the second lesson, you know, the link between problems and solutions. And the other last point is that there's no limit to this. This is an evolving media. You know, tremendous opportunities. People often say that the sky is the limit. In this case, the sky is not even the limit. I think the limit is the imagination going forward. So those are the 3 main lessons from Kenya this afternoon. Let me mention very quickly 2 messages, you know, from the lessons. I think the first one is that this is a new medium. It's young, it's evolving, it requires tremendous creativity. It also needs space to grow and thrive. there's a tendency now that it could be over-regulated, such that the capacity for innovation is thwarted. It's extremely important that we work with the governments as international organizations to encourage them to provide more enabling environment rather than regulate this new medium to death. And it's quite possible because a lot of the governments are not as well informed as they could be about the possibilities and the use to which digital platforms can be made to promote development, to promote better governance in their countries. And it's not just applying to developing countries, it also applied to developed countries. If you see what has happened over time to Microsoft being dragged into court for anti-competitive behavior based on laws that were made 100 years ago, and Facebook also faced similarly. So this issue of appropriate regulation is extremely important and it must be addressed. The second message is that in Kenya we've learned that a lot of the innovation is undertaken by very young people. They're creating jobs for themselves, they are solving problems. The problem they face is how to access affordable capital. And here I'm talking in terms of both investment capital and working capital. Money from conventional sources is very expensive in Kenya as it is in other developing countries. It's extremely important that we work with governments, with other international organizations, as the United Nations, to create funds that will support young entrepreneurs in this field. They're very young, they're in their 20s, and I might mention one of them who I know pretty well, Nevi, who has been working on e-learning. She's below 30. I'm just being polite here. She's 28, as a matter of fact. So that is extremely important. So I want then to mention the 3 lessons we learned. The sky is the limit. This between problems and solutions, and then also the main lessons of our regulations, and also creating funds to support young entrepreneurs in this field. I think my time is up, and I thank you very much for your attention.
Aeneas, thank you very much. What a great takeaway message. The sky's the limit. So from Beijing, it's getting late here, so it only remains for me to say good night and to hand you back over to Stuart Elman at the 92nd Y as they start the 3rd day of their summit conversation, to wish New York best of luck and hope that this is the start of a global conversation that will sustain way beyond this week into the months and years to come. Thank you very much.